And welcome back. And today we are going to discuss about flash loans, what they are, and the use cases of flash loan in 2025 and beyond. One of the most important differentiation to make is the difference between laws in blockchain and laws in the normal world. In the blockchain, mathematics is the language of the day and code is the law. So imagine that you want to borrow money in your bank account with your bank so that money be transferred to your bank account. One thing that you need in most cases is the security in terms of collateral. Because you need collateral, the bank has always an option of selling your collateral or selling what you want or selling what you gave them just in case you default on your loan. And that is the most important differentiation that you need to make. But in blockchain or in decentralized world, flash loan allows you to borrow unlimited amount of money without any collateral needed. So you don't need collateral to borrow flash loans. So the lack of collateral is what makes the flash loans very important or very distinctive. There are other forms of loans in the blockchain space that needs collateral, but flash loan does not need collateral. And also its distinctive feature is that the entire money that you borrowed has to be refunded back in a single transaction. So you have to refund everything in a single transaction, and you don't need collateral even to borrow it. And whenever you try not to return it in a single transaction, then the flash loan smart contract will throw an error, and the entire code, the entire transaction that you initiated will be reversed as if nothing happened, and you will not get the money. So there is no way you can sell it, there is no way you can get it unless you have a specific application that you want to use it with. And it also needs substantial amount of computer programming knowledge and ability to understand Solidity or Rust if you are developing in Solana compatible chains. But then the most important application of flash loan is the arbitrage trading. So I want to discuss about arbitrage trading and what it is. But then, for us to discuss arbitrage trading, let's say we have two or more decentralized exchanges. In Ethereum, the two most important decentralized exchanges by market cap is SushiSwap and Uniswap. So my idea is that there is always price discrepancies among these decentralized exchanges, and we are going to exploit these price discrepancies to make money. There are a lot of applications of flash loan, but this is just one of the applications, and I'm going to help you understand how to use flash loan by using this type of application. Other applications including liquidation, yield farming, and others. But then if, let's say we have Ethereum to USDT in Uniswap going at around ETH to USDT going at around 2,500. And then you check again another exchanges, say it's SushiSwap. I don't know if that's the correct spelling, but then it's going ETH. Let me just use the capital letters, and then it's going at ETH to USDT at around 2,000. I know this cannot exist in reality, but just for demonstration, I'm going to use 2,000 to ease my time and not to make it that complicated. So I realized that Uniswap, if I have ETH I will get 2,500 USDT. But in SushiSwap, if I have ETH, I will get 2,000 USDT. There is a price discrepancies here that exists because in real sense, it is the same ETH and it is the same USDT that is being traded in these platforms, but the prices are different. So, because I don't have 2,500 USDT, or I don't have such kind of money, but maybe I have $5 or even less, I want to take advantage of this, but I don't have capital to take advantage of that. Then I have to borrow Flashloan. One of the best Flashloan providers at the moment in Ethereum blockchain is Balancer. So I have three parties here now. I have Balancer and I have these two decentralized exchanges. Balancer can give me unlimited loan in terms of Flashloan for $0. At the moment they don't charge anything, but I know they are planning that at some point they will be charging something, but they are not charging at the moment. So arbitrage opportunity now exists, but how do I execute it? First of all, I need to borrow money from Balancer. Let's say I'm borrowing around $5,000 or 5,000 USDT, because everything has to be borrowed in terms of a coin. And then if I'm borrowing 5,000 USDT, then I am taking this 5,000 USDT and taking it to SushiSwap, or even I can borrow 2 ETH, whichever I like. I can borrow 2 ETH. Let's say I'm borrowing 2 ETH to make this simpler. I'm borrowing 2 ETH. And then, after borrowing 2 ETH, I'm going to Uniswap. And if I go to Uniswap, I'm taking my 2 ETH and I'm getting 2,500 USDT. You get that? 2,500 USDT. By 2, I'm getting 5,000 USDT. So I have 5,000 USDT and I've given my ETH to Uniswap. And then after that, I go to SushiSwap with this 5,000 USDT. And because the price of ETH to USDT is 2,000 per ETH, then I will take my 5,000 and divide it by 2,000, and then I have gotten back 2.5 USDT. So if I sell my 5,000 USDT, I will be getting 2.5 USDT, 2.5 ETH. So the flow is, I borrow 2 ETH, I sell it for higher, which is 2,500, and I buy USDT for cheap, and 2,500, and I go here to SushiSwap, I buy back ETH for cheaper, and then after buying back for cheaper, now I have 2.5 ETH. I have 2.5 ETH. Then in this my 2.5 ETH, I have to refund back the 2 ETH that I borrowed. And then my profit now is 0.5 ETH. So I hope you understand how this arbitrage works. You borrow the money, you sell where it is expensive, and then you buy where it is cheaper, and lastly, you refund where you borrowed from. So that is the entire flow of arbitrage trading in a nutshell. Arbitrage opportunity does exist, but how do you even know that now the arbitrage opportunity exists? Because it doesn't exist forever, because everybody is trying to mine these opportunities, and you always have to be at the peak and to be as fast as possible to identify and execute on these opportunities. And that's why you have to understand what's called arbitrage opportunity snipping bot or script bot. It is a bot that scrapes the website, the blockchain, and identifies opportunities that exist in the blockchain. And then after identifying opportunities that does exist on the blockchain, then you execute on them. That is where a bot comes in. A bot is not running on the blockchain, it's always connecting to RCP providers such as Infura and using JavaScript frameworks such as VM, and then executing on the transactions that are necessary, that you have determined that are profitable. And we are going to learn about how to write these bots in this tutorial. This is just the first video we are giving the overview. But then there are always challenges that exist when it comes to executing on flash loans. And one of them is the transaction fees. As I've said, even if the flash loans are free, like with the Balancer's case, you will always have to pay the gas fees. Gas fees are the fees that you pay to the validators so that they can verify your transaction. And that's always a risk that we have to take into consideration. And then there is a competition. As I've said, you're not the only one who is scraping or looking for these opportunities. There are many people who are also looking for the same opportunities, and you can be traded out if someone executes an opportunity that you have just identified before you can execute. And that is also a factor that we have to determine. And then we have flash loan fees. Balancer is free for the moment, but flash loans such as AE, EVE, or others always charge fees, and you always have to factor in on your business logic when you are coding your smart contract or flash loan arbitrage logic. And then we have the slippage. Slippage is very technical in terms of how it is, because let's say that you are buying ETH from Uniswap, and then initially it was 2,500 USDT per ETH. But because now the volume of ETH is reducing into Uniswap, that makes ETH expensive by definition, because it follows a formula X times Y is equals to Z. There is always a constant that they have to subscribe to. So buying more of ETH in any smart decentralized exchanges increases the ETH price, and that means that you will not be getting the amount of ETH that you anticipated. So you always have to ensure that you allow a reasonable amount of slippage margin, because buying something or buying any coin in a decentralized exchange lead to liquidity pool, making that coin more expensive, and that is always a factor to consider. And then there is always the risk of maximum extractable value. Maximum extractable value. So maximum extractable value is the amount of value that validators or maybe other users can extract from your transaction, because validators are also seeing your transaction going through. And if this transaction is the one that can lead to you making profit, then there is nothing stopping them from copying your transaction and reordering your transaction to be the last and making their transaction execute fast. So by the time that you will be executing your transaction, then the opportunity should have gone out. The opportunity should have never existed in the first place, because it has been executed by someone. Or even a regular user can also look at your transaction on mempool on the blockchain, and then they copy your transaction, and after copying your transaction, they send it with a higher gas fees. And because the validators are always they are looking for transactions with the higher gas fees, their transaction will always be executed faster than yours. And by the time that your transaction is executed, then the opportunity should have vanished. So that is always a very important consideration you have to make. But we are also going to discuss about how to go about these pitfalls. And one of them is flashbots. We are going to discuss about flashbots and how they can help you to reorder your transaction or to make your transaction appear as a bundles, which reduces the gas fees that you have to be exposed to, and also the risk of anyone seeing your transaction. So your transaction is not broadcasted publicly to the mempool, and you have to always ensure that you pay the flashbot operators at the end of the day. And let's now talk about Flashloans, receiver, and smart contract. And that is the part where we are going to write a lot of Solidity or Rust code according to the Flashloan that provider or the chain that we will be working with. And the top providers is Balancer and Aave. Or the Flashloan providers, Balancer and Aave, we are going to use RCP providers as well. And we are going to discuss about the best practices when you are exchanging Flashloans. And also we are going to write code on how to execute or to run bots that do identify opportunities. And we're going to discuss about differences between layer 1 chain and layer 2 chain or EVM chains, and different Flashloan providers in different EVM chains, and Flashloan providers on Solana. And lastly, we are going to discuss about why Flashloan is not as prominent in Solana chain as it is in Ethereum chain. So guys, those are everything that you need to know about Flashloan in 2025, and we are going to discuss them one by one from start to finish until you are fully satisfied that you are a master in not just the Flashloan arbitrage, but also in blockchain and smart contract programming. So that's it now for today, guys. Until next time, bye.